Ladies and gentlemen, welcome your faces back to yet another episode of our Hearts of Iron 4 Millennium Dawn playthrough as Poland. Hope everyone's doing well. This is a milestone, episode 20. I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to be your host for the next 25 to 30 minutes. And yeah, let's crack into it. So let's get the ball rolling, so to speak. I am now back from my holiday. As I'm recording this, it's Sunday evening, the 24th. This is going to go up tomorrow at midday, and then tomorrow I'm going to do my batch recordings as I have obligations this evening or yesterday evening for you guys. It's still kind of a wild concept to grasp at. I did write some notes before I went away as to what we'd been doing. Obviously, we are going to be researching more towards the nuclear tech tree. It's the natural order of things. I think with the fact now we can build a nuclear reactor in A state, and then these focuses here come down and allow us to build up, for example, here, level 6 in one state. We have a 15 kiloton nuclear warhead here. These are the conventional warheads for the ICBMs. And then if we go to here and missiles launch center, if we want to make a missile, we come here to build the 1965 rockets effectively, and then we add a warhead. But to get the warhead itself, as you can see here, to produce them down here, we need enriched uranium, and to do that we need nuclear power plants, to which now we have 3 measly civilian factories there working on that. The rest working on offices. We are now making money again. In the meantime, we don't really need any of these other nuke techs. But what I would like is maybe a more up-to-date ICBM. Or intermediate range. Give me extra launch sites, etc. Space tech, we are researching the global navigation satellite system. Communications satellite would be decent. Space weapons. Rods from God. No, for the time being, we only get fuel from our refineries. We can't make rubber. We are behind tech on railway construction speed, but we're not really building any railways, so that's a problem. Not a problem, but one of those things. In that case, 23% ahead of time. Almost maxed out from the tech sharing. So we'll go ahead and get early AI robotics for extra factory output and efficiency cap. We are, of course, researching, I think that's the IFVs. Yeah. Infantry fighting vehicles. That is the 1995 version. And then that's that. Because we are making money again, we do want to gradually get this debt down. I think the lowest we had, it was around 180 billion in debt, which is, in layman's terms, well, we have 120 plus billion added on to that. We're at the highest debt yet for the country. That's because we were fiddling around with the tax and such. Yes, we will take a civilian industry from Spain. It's going to cost us about a week's worth of income. These are going to be done in October, November, and December, respectively. Now, the reason for us dropping the... Oh, what's this? Shanghai Cooperation Organization is no longer a joint Sino-Russian effort. It's now just a Chinese effort. The reason as to why our economy is churning things out, so to speak, is because obviously we dropped the corporate tax level to just measly 15%. But we are wanting to aim to get back to stable growth. Now, if we want to do that, we need a shit ton of money. So we're kind of hoping the economy can bounce back on its own, and thus bouncing back, thus the construction of office sectors in different states to kind of get people from elsewhere buying things. I haven't actually read up on the Millennium Dawn wiki or Reddit or anything like that as to what can naturally pull your country out of like a funk, so to speak. The fact we don't have any, well, negligible corruption is a great thing, and we should be proud of that. We're going to have some extra civs done here in just over 2 weeks and just under 1 week as well. Bahrain's oil company is now public. We have a lot of Spanish civs. I'm going to quickly write down here, guys, that I would like to look into EU MD being Millennium Dawn influence. So, like, do we get less influence when we're in the EU? And also, I would like to look at the economy as well. Make sure that's something I look into in my spare time. Topic of conversation. Let's go into a bit of detail as to what went on my holiday. So, like I say, I went to Center Parks in Sherwood Forest, which is around about here-ish on the map where my cursor is, just above Nottingham. And this sort of forest here on the game, it's not portrayed awfully well, but that's... Where did my money go? Into biofuel, question mark? Yeah, 8.5 billion. Let's accept that. We'll go into a little bit more debt. But yeah, went to Center Parks. If you don't know what Center Parks is, it's kind of like... it's like a holiday place. Some people from America might call it vacation. That sort of thing, where you go and basically into a forest, and they have cabins and stuff, and it's just away from the city and like the seaside if you're not that into it, and this, that, and the other. Let's go down international law. So yeah, whilst we were there, we got up to a bunch of activities. We played a bunch of board games. It was just really just to chill out and just enjoy ourselves. I mean, personally, I haven't been on a holiday this year up until this point. And I hadn't been on holiday like last year, like at all. So it was great to get away. We played board games like Monopoly, and from my previous holiday, when I went up to Lindisfarne, which is just around here, it's an island called the Holy Island. It's where the Vikings first landed on the shores of the British Isles. But I got a medieval version of the board game Risk. I'm sure a lot of you will have heard of Risk, considering we like playing strategy games with maps, etc., etc. So that was fun. Some games go short, some games go quick. That's the way of things. We had one game where we were playing for like 4 hours straight, and it got to like 1 a.m. of the night before we were leaving, and none of us had packed. So it was like, oh well, we need to call it, sort of thing. But yeah, that was fun. We did bowling, went out for food, did some archery, where I am undeniably the World War champion of archery. So if guns went poof tomorrow, no longer existed, and they needed to teach people how to use a bow and arrow, I would be accustomed to that. I would be okay. I can hit the target. Obviously, a standing or like a not moving target is obviously easier to hit. Well, the accuracy was there. We played 21, so if you guys have ever played cards or anything like that, where like your aim is to get 21 in as few cards as possible, it's kind of like a card game. You can play at like casinos and with family, that sort of thing. We did that, but with the target board, so every ring had like a certain amount of numbers, and I got 21 in 3 arrows, which is obviously the minimum you can do it in. And no one else even came close. So there you go. Fun stuff. Making 1.2 utility vehicles a day. Want to get obviously this up to 1 a month or 12 a year. Obviously we need the efficiency cap to go up, but for a 4th gen multi-role fighter, that's pretty decent. The fact that all my efficiency is almost capped, with exceptions of the 2005 guns, which was a recent research, I'm happy. I'm happy with that. We're making progress. We can take naval doctrine. Well, I don't really plan on doing anything with the Navy in this game, but we'll go with the Prowlers just in case I decide to go down like the submarine route. Yeah, obviously we can't go into that right now with no naval experience anymore. Let's get that starting to tick down just a little bit. Big upset in Austria. Christian Kern. Let's propose a trade agreement with Austria. No reason why not. Global navigation systems researched. Let me actually have a look in here. Satellite systems. Aha, so it gives you better statistics for your military and like radar and such. Can we... Holy shit, this is so we have 3,000 satellites. Or we have... Okay. So we've got 3 satellites in orbit. What? We can make space missiles? And anti-satellite missiles? Honestly, this game never fails to amaze me. Well, in that case, let's get some brand new. Well, not brand new, but let's keep researching the satellite tech whilst I have a look at it. So we can produce satellites here as well. Yeah, 1995. How much? 0.2. Let's make 5. And have 5 factories on it. And that's a special project. So using 5 civilian factories to build 5 satellites to which we can launch. Portuguese election, Euroscepticism. Aha, yeah, so that one we built earlier, that one 1995 can do 10 megabits a second. So building 5 of those will help out. So we have 3 satellite communication systems, which give us network traffic. The ratio of active receivers to total number of receivers the system can handle without limitations. If the limit is reached, each point above 100% reduces the bonus by 1%. Each battalion, ship, and deployed plane has 1 receiver. If other countries have access to satellite systems, their receivers are also added. So, we build more satellites, we get less network traffic, and thus we get bonuses to the military. Organization planning speed, escort efficiency, fleet coordination, and intercept missions. And we can't bump up because we don't have less than 5 128 kilobytes satellites. Okay. Good to know. Good talk. Money's gone up by 0.3 billion, so 300 million, since some of the offices there got completed. Yeah, the support on this series, guys, has been absolutely immense. I really do appreciate it, especially whilst I've been away. I haven't actually had much of a look. If I saw like a comment, I would try to interact with it in a reasonable amount of time, so like a day or so. But I wasn't looking, like I wasn't at my computer, right? So it was just like on my phone. If I had like 10 minutes where I was like, oh, you know what? I'll have a look. So in my notes, I did write down that we can bump up and get an extra research slot. It's going to cost us 91 billion, which is a lot of billions. Just doing a pro-European campaign. Why on earth not? Yeah, so Spain, after all those factories, is still only at 7% influence. So if we go ahead and... Well, we don't really want to do that because... 1, 2... Can't bump it up again. But if we get to 44%... That's good. That's good. Slow and steady, working our way through the debt. Not a right lot, obviously, going on. That's 68 days, right? Until they're all done, or until one's done. So originally it said to December 2008. Now it's March 2008. So we're steamrolling through here. Steam rolling. December time, we're going to have you done. We did have some guys working on the Wamia network infrastructure, but those have decided, obviously, it's not in their best interest. And just decided, you know what, fuck it. I don't think so, not today. Not today. That shit is not gonna fly. Tell you what is gonna fly soon. The satellites! Woohoo! So we do our reasons. We are still. We own more of Slovakia than Slovakia has influence over themselves. They're making a lot of money and they're just deciding to sit around and do naff all. I wonder what that is all about. Progressive states. Monthly population goes down by 5%, but we get an extra 5% research speed. You know what? We're going to separate church from the state, and everyone's going to hate me for that. That's natural. I know Poland is a deeply faithful nation. For a fact. I had a little tidbit from a chap in the comment sections. He said that if I click expand party view, we can see a more in-depth, like where everything comes under, right? So we are under like a torch, this banner. So we are Western and pro-Western governments seek to retain the US-centric liberal world order that has reigned supreme since the fall of the Soviet Union. And then if we just have a look here, governments with an emerging outlook are those especially in the global south and post-Soviet sphere that seek to replace the prevailing liberal world order with their own alternative institutions and multipolar way of global politics. Differing attitudes towards globalization, forms of government, and domestic policy. So you can see in here, you've got two religious revolutionaries. You have the communist and left-wing radicals, almost one and the same. You have your far-right party, which for us is a concern. 20% of the country like these guys. So we can attack them, which means their popularity starts to diminish. Naturally, we want to do that sooner rather than later. So I will write that down in my notes as well, is push back right-wing party. Now also, in regards to that, that could also mean boosting them. Now, if we boost it, we will probably get kicked out of the EU. Or something like that. Costs 100 political power to do it. Obviously, we can't ban our own party. That's a thing. We also can't ban, like, the second most popular party. But let's go ahead and attack those guys. Take some political power to do so. And then that should go down to around 17.8%. And may I just say as well, had it not been for you guys telling me about all of these different things, all these different features that are in the game, I wouldn't have been able to invest in other countries. I wouldn't have been able to view more in depth as to what's going on here in the House of Commons this evening. No, well, you know what I mean. You know what I mean. You're picking up what I'm putting down. All frontline battalions extra org, yep. To 1.6 billion in the treasury, another office has been completed. And let's go ahead and pay off 5 billion in debt. And again, we're looking to push, let's call it, in quotations, stimulating the economy, which we are doing, technically, because of the money we're now making. The increased tax rate gives us more money. The decreased tax rate on businesses gives us an increased construction rate, which more buildings are being produced. More money is being flowing into the economy. GDP's gone up by like 3,000 since the start of this episode. And by the looks of things, will continue to go up. France will now hold the office of the President of the European Central Bank for the next 8 years. So they'll have that up until 2018.